A port of the 1988 arcade game of the same name, Altered Beast was the original pack-in title for the Sega Genesis 16-bit home system, a side-scrolling action arcade beat-em-up game where you play as a barely clothed fellow who was brought back from the dead by the god Zeus to save his daughter Athena from Nerf, or something. You punch and kick your way through various monsters while on the lookout for blue dogs. Killing said blue dogs will release energy orbs that will give you abs and more power. Collecting 3 of these orbs, your main objective for each of the game's 5 unique rounds of auto-scrolling undead action, will alter your undead beefcake into a beast specially for that level. For example, in level 1 you turn into a werewolf, in level 3 you turn into a bear, and so on and so forth. Once you've transformed, this creepy zombie dude will also transform into the level boss, which you'll obviously have to kill in order to progress onwards. However, if this guy sees a lowly human, then he'll run away because he's scared of humans or something. Eventually, after several false starts, he'll overcome his fear of skinless mammals and fight you anyway, regardless of whether you're transformed or not, which is apparently instant death or something, I don't know. It never got to that point for me. I was always transformed into a nice little bear before whatever. Altered Beast is a game that auto-scrolls, which means the playfield is always moving bit by bit even when you're not. This means you need to be on the move at all times, and you also need to be mindful of where hordes of foes will appear at all times. You must also be mindful of where pits are hidden when in caverns, featuring foreground graphics that block out this important information. Falling into pits, much like being drained of health that never replenishes, means the loss of a life, but at least you respawn from where you left off, as long as you have lives remaining. Altered Beast starts you off with 3 lives, and once they're exhausted, it's game over. However, much like in Super Mario Bros., pressing the start button on the title screen while holding the A button will restart you at the last round you were defeated in, allowing you to continue your adventure. And if the game proves a bit too challenging, you can hold down B while pressing start on the title screen to bring up the option menu, allowing you to adjust the number of lives and hit points, while also toggling your starting round and difficulty setting, of which there are 3. So I'm going to be brutally honest here. Altered Beast has not aged well, at all. It was made for a time and an environment where the goal was not to provide players with a challenge to conquer, but to rob them of their hard-earned quarters by spamming the screen with enemies that will swarm you, surround you, overwhelm you, beat you around for a bit, and eventually kill you. Scenarios like this make this likely that you'll miss out on the all-important power-up that you need to pick up in order to challenge the boss, extending the slow-paced scrolling even further. The Genesis port more or less maintains this gameplay mentality, but with the additional options you can make the game a bit more tolerable if the default setup proves a bit overwhelming. That having been said, for what it's worth, controlling Altered Beast is fairly solid. All 3 buttons are utilized for punching, kicking, and jumping, and they work fairly well. The various beasts that you transform into in each stage have different abilities and attributes that make them a worthy reward for enduring the tedium of the human bits. While the actual build-up oftentimes feels like a chore, the boss fights themselves tend to be fun little endeavors. And there's also 2-player simultaneous gameplay, so that 2 beefcakes could beat up some demon scum, though if you want to power up, you'll need to grab your own balls. It's just the way it is. Altered Beast sports some nice graphics for its day, some big characters, some nice transformation sequences, as basic as they are. The intermission sequences are pretty neat. The opening stage is a nice looking set piece for the most part, though the rest of the stages, not so much. I do appreciate that during boss battles, the background doesn't change to black and white like it does in the arcade original. Maybe there was a stylistic choice, or maybe it was a hardware limitation, I don't recall. But the home port doesn't bother with that, and that's a good thing. There's no need to emphasize that the monster you're fighting shares the same color as number 2. On the flip side, you have them iconic voice bites that sound rough, but they're classic and hip and iconic and stuff, so it's forgivable for some of you folks out there, somewhere. The voice bites do have this annoying knack of restarting the music tracks from the beginning as if they rewound the track. Here, just take a listen. Power up. Power up. Aside from that, the sound is okay. Some tinny sound effects, some average sounding music, and the aforementioned muffled voice bites. All of it from the arcade game, but done on somewhat lesser hardware. Not much else to say in that regard, really. Overall, Altered Beast is a product of its day. As a pack-in title for the Sega Genesis, long before it had games that explored its full potential, it was a solid showcase of the system's ability to replicate the arcade experience at home, for the time at least. The game itself is an acquired taste. It's slow, plodding, perhaps overly difficult and somewhat tedious, but the various beast forms you assume are cool and the boss fights are fairly enjoyable. It takes a certain mindset and perhaps a healthy dose of nostalgia to truly appreciate what Altered Beast had to offer, given how widely available it is through compilations, plug-and-play systems, digital re-releases, or loose carts on the cheap. It doesn't hurt to give Altered Beast a try at least once. You might like it, you might not, but it's harmless.